Nonsia abo adeshima ma ya mamu hina akwa abane adwo ediba virgin enwumre nonsia kase eso ensema ekoso ewo man Ghana oman ahodo emum na yabobo ebia no yeba bekan ya ma wenwumre se virgin onwumbrem kase hyane nso se ye success preparatory school womom so ya sen emi etimide kase ede ebrew success ana omuso mo ebi omopono no ede ama obi bia kase de dimu akutini ebi ene se Abatu a afiye twam mecha afimpinu ni aduonu yeto ye na ennom mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama wanya ne ho entiase de kopie mu ewo Supreme Court enre ya da Supreme Court de nsemu yina abase mampeni na nadadankwa kufuado wono enemfa na konwa ne no na mampeni na nadadankwa kufuado woni na bedi eche womo agi womo ani sonku na mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama wono enene wodi ababeto abonti se yade abatu ono ensunsuanso Supreme Court de abase mampeni John arase mampeni akufado na afa no wono de wanyintumu ne enyintumu kina na yedo ebeko ensem fufuro mu enso de nenye onimonyamfo domlevo empenifo si wonko na wonkwaje na homene no na mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama akasa ede afa ho de wokan ye no eno nso ye de ebeba beto mwanim saranso ene de obeko enije kase emu ne no ene so poku junior wodi aba bontin se yade abrada samidie wo ye ne nua pa na momu no onye na damfo nenso no saa ene wone no enni asembia ensembi eka we hu amanone ensem ena yabobo ano anwumre yade ba beso se virgin onwuni bre kase midin ede nanakua akyereba ye twa ye ho ye ba ye beto akase no eso Ewusia yesan ema wakwa aba ediba virgin enwure no nsia kase eso afi kase bono enkyiremu se omanfo beka ya afi ya etwam mu mecha afimpinu ni aduonu bronya bosome ne de tosonson ene yeto aba na abato komisa mammi Jane mensa ediba bontin se ye mampeni na nadodankwa kufodo wono ena fa konwa no nenno ena frankatuni edema NDC amanyokuo owura Dramani Mahama wanya ne ho entiase no de kopie mu ewo Supreme Court nenre ya da obenim bosome ne da itoso nan ena Supreme Court ede ne nsem betu dwase yade a mampeni John Dramani Mahama intwo na wedi no efini kekaye bia eni ho enti wonyina hwa na Ghana ye mampeni na nadodankwa kufodo wonko fa na konwa chese na na toaso ne no enna aba beto edwase mampeni na nadodankwa kufodo wonne na bedi eche doctor aba womia womo agi womo ani papa eyie sanse womo di womo hu ne senyame edi womo asema ma womo enu nti womo agi womo ani yenko ne yenkohwe womo ani je no ebi
This judgment by emphasizing that the petitioner did not demonstrate in any way how the alleged errors and unilateral corrections made by the first respondent affected the validity of the declaration made by the chairperson of the first respondent on the 9th December 2020 as already stated in this judgment. The petitioner has not produced any evidence to rebut the presumption created by the publication of CI 135 for which his action must fail. We have therefore no reason to order a rerun as prayed by the petitioner as in relief F. We accordingly dismiss the petition as having no merit.
Mr. President.
Ebusia mampeni na nado danko akufado ene na bedie kire ena wo hu wo mo no wo mo agi wo mo anipa eye sanse wo mo de wo mo nsemu nyina ne se still the battle is still the loss. Yetua kase no eso de ane ye de wo mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama Franketufo ana Franketuni edema NDC amanyokuo no fan Supreme Court nsensema enre yada wode ba bontin se mampeni nana dodanko akufado wo no na wonsamfa na konwa neno na mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama wose wono de wone Supreme Court enya adwene ne enya adwene kina esanse wono de wo hu ni sa ba no na muda ho fan pa ayi ananke wose Supreme Court no wotena se ne wo hyehye ne nyoma ayi pa nanka wo ba bontin ya de nanka wo mra mebo se NDC amanyokuo no anka nana dodanko akufado wonsi form no wo mo enkofa benwa no nenso amane sa de wono de wone wo mo enya adwen.
Anxious for answers from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission as the returning officer of the December 2020 presidential elections. Ghanaians were hoping to hear her testify, and many are still baffled by the refusal of Mrs. Jean Mensah to be held to account by testifying in this case, unfortunately with the unanimous agreement of the justices of the Supreme Court. The vital part of the process to establish the truth and hold Mrs. Mensah accountable was blocked time and again by a protective cordon and firewall that I'm sure has confounded many Ghanaians. The refusal of this chairperson is in sharp contrast to the readiness with which Dr. Kwadwo Afarijan, then chairman of the Electoral Commission, willingly testified in the 2013 election petition filed by then candidate Nana Akufo-Addo of the MPP. Speaking as a Ghanaian with no legal training, I believe that the refusal of the Electoral Commission chairperson to testify in this election petition leaves a very bad precedent for the future. I disagree with the suggestions of our justices that an election petition is akin to any other civil litigation, and therefore an EC chairperson whose functions go to the heart of our democracy can, by a legal sleight of hand, avoid accounting for her stewardship in an appropriate forum such as the highest court of the land. Our legal team, led by Mr. Chachuchi Kata, put together our case in a clear manner. Which left no one in doubt about the issues that were at stake. Apart from seeking to ensure compliance with the Constitution and for the true choice of the people of Ghana to be respected, the petition sought to provide opportunity for transparency and accountability in the management of our electoral process. But no one who followed the proceedings of the Supreme Court will be surprised with the judgment pronounced a few hours ago. Much as I'm aware that we are legally bound by the decision of the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court of Ghana, I disagree with the process of the trial and the ruling of the court. For the avoidance of that, I say, much as I'm aware that we are legally bound by the decisions of the Supreme Court, I disagree with the process of the trial.
Ebusuya ya tuwa kasiya no eso na se manfo beka ya na watwe ye mum e na auditor general e de magana onimonyamfo Daniel Yawodom levom empanifo ka se wonko na homgye emu na ne hinada ene se ansam bi efa ne hom eye bebia wofiri ene nimfia wanya na empanifo ekire mu se onimonyamfo domrevo no kura wonye Ghana ni na emom no eye Togo ena wofiri na sabe wofa kwoti kwan bi eso ena wokokọ sesan bebia wofiri na wotro adan eno ewo nkramantamu na nimfia wode ba yese yemfa na dwuma mu kura no wotimi eteso na eno ena omoye nhwehwemu ahunu ni se ampani ampa no wonye Ghana ni na emom no wofiri Togo na enre ya dam ena wo mu kire mu se wonko na homgye mum esanse nimfia no eduru abroso empo enti wonkwaje na home na no ena Ghana mampani dada John Dramani Mahama woka se empanifo de wo mo aye no ne kwanso a eno no na emom no na nke wo se wo mo efa kwan foforo bi eso na mo kache papa ne se wonko enkwaje na home na emom no enye ntempatiosly ya wo mo akache ne se wonko nkwaje na home no eye sa na bia wo nya ntoto ne niema na nso esansa ba ne santi wo se wokotena efiem.
We entered the 2020 elections against an incumbent that was determined to abuse power and misuse state resources and institutions to achieve an electoral victory. The run-up to the election and some of the process involved were characterized by intimidation and harassment from state security agents and others loyal to the current regime. Selective deployment of the military was used as a tool to instill fear in some of our citizens to dissuade them from taking part in the voter registration exercise and other processes of the elections. Others were falsely branded as foreigners and their citizenship called into question unjustly. An abhorrent nation-wrecking prejudice which has been directed especially against certain ethnic groups of this country and has continued till date and has only recently been visited crudely on our Auditor General, Daniel Yawodom. In the last election, unprecedented levels of state funds and resources were doled out by the ruling party and unprovoked deadly violence inflicted on our citizens in several circumstances. In the process, 8 of our compatriots were murdered in cold blood and several others were maimed during the process of the elections. We have designated these compatriots whose blood was shed just because they sought to participate in what is purely a civil exercise as martyrs of democracy, to whom we shall dedicate an appropriate monument when the time comes.
Ebusuya na eyadia election petition ya na yeda so ejina so na mampani dada John Dramani Mahama ne nsamu nyina ne se wono de abato no wo hunu ne se abato commission bo modern ayire ne ho pan ayie sebe ena wo wiemu de ma NPP amanyokuo no enu nti no wono de wo kan ne se woni hweka na nso no mampani dada John Dramani Mahama wo kire mu se eyade abato commission ma mejen mensa ene ni mpanifo wo motena se eye nhwenhan pan ena NDC amanyokuo no ye ma wo mo edi entwo na won de ne wo hu ne se ba no ekode wo ma wo mo papa eyie.
It is not surprising that international election observers who attended on the last election identified collation and tallying of results as one of the challenges of our 2020 election. The posture and approach of this current Electoral Commission does not inspire confidence that is needed to preside over any transparent, free, and fair election. Indeed, this Commission has absolutely no reason to continue to remain in office. This is because the Electoral Commission must remain a neutral arbiter and organizer of elections. The Electoral Commission must not have a vested interest in the dubious victory of one party over another. The loyalty of the Electoral Commission must be to the people of Ghana and the Constitution from which it derives its mandate, and not the president or party under whose tenure the leadership is appointed. Immediate reforms reflecting the long-standing image and reputation of our Electoral Commission as one of the finest and most credible on the continent, and indeed in the world, must be one of the focuses of public advocacy if future elections are to be devoid of needless tensions and anxiety. My brothers and sisters, we cannot forget the burning issue of the deliberate exclusion of the good people of Santo Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi Sao from the parliamentary elections of 2020. This constitutes perhaps the gravest injustice of the 2020 elections, perhaps even greater than the election petition. It can easily fit into the worst forms of electoral trickery ever witnessed in our nation's history. Despite the shenanigans employed by the conspirators in this issue, it is abundantly clear that the rights of the people of Sao to vote was intentionally violated as part of a move to ensure the predetermined election outcome of a particular parliamentary constituency. This represents unparalleled abuse of power by both the government and its handmaiden, the Electoral Commission, to influence the outcome of the parliamentary election in that constituency. It is even more staggering that no one has stepped forward to take responsibility for this unjustifiable action, nor indicated any clear remedy for the harm that has been caused the good people.
Ebusia mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama ene de wapeni minim papa eyie na wo kire mu se NDC amanyokuo no emu ekitaifo no wo hunu ne se obenimbo so meni de toso na me kire nre ya da Supreme Court nsem a ode ba bonte se NDC edi ntwo no aha wo bi mo papa eyie enokura no wo timi hu se obi afemu kura nka sebe wo ya yare na wo ka kire wo mo se wo munya didie ewo nyame mu ene NDC amanyokuo no emu na yese empanifo bi eka asem se be ma hwe ase a na eno no enye na wie ya no no eno nti no won de wo gidi se afimpinu ne aduonu nan no abato no NDC fo ene befa enti ekitaifo no wo munya botere na omo enka omo akoma entu wo mo yam na nyame ebedi mo sem ade amamo.
Aware that there are millions watching and listening to me who are also disappointed at the outcome of this case. For those millions like myself who held out hope that our democracy would be advanced by the process and outcome of this petition, you must be disappointed. But I encourage you to hold your heads up high and channel your disappointment into hard work that will ensure that come the next election, we'll achieve a truly transparent and fair election which all of us as Ghanaians can be proud of. To all my compatriots and supporters, we may have lost the temporary battle of the 2020 election and the petition that has followed. But the larger struggle to create a society that lives up to our national motto of freedom and justice still rages on. It is a struggle that requires even more commitment than before, and it is one that we will not shirk from until our patriotic aim is achieved. To the millions of NDC supporters who have stood by me, my running mate, Professor Nana Jenopokwa Jimang, our national chairman, our general secretary, our campaign chairman, functional executive committee members, national executive committee members, our parliamentary candidates, our sponsors who were very generous to us during the campaign, and all activists and supporters who gave us their all and all their efforts in the hope that we'll win and form the next government to save our nation and meet your aspirations. I say to you, do not despair at this outcome. And I repeat, do not despair. Never, ever lose hope. We achieved an impressive showing in the last election. And despite the intimidation, the obscene abuse of incumbency advantage, and the massive use of state funds and resources, we can be proud that we gave it our best. Our achievement has become a stepping stone on which the NDC can build to secure victory in the next elections. The NDC will survive and grow from strength to strength. The sun may have set on our hopes for the just ended election today, but it will rise again tomorrow, and it will illuminate our paths to a better outcome the next time round. To the Council of Elders, members of the National Executive Committee of the NDC, the Functional Executive Election 2020 campaign team, my staff, party executives at all levels, volunteers, polling agents, and all who played roles in our campaign, no matter how small, I say I thank you from the bottom.
Ebusia yegusua etwere kase no emu na Supreme Court ho nsensem ya na yeda so gina so mampani dada John Dramani Mahama enei wo kire mu se eyade ase ye baga na yensemu emu anase yamane emu a eyade a ensem ebekoso a Supreme Court wo mo ebedi na ya mo dibitu wo se de enkoda na se sukupon ahodo a enkoda wo mo esua de na mo nso abaye aloyafo e wo manga na mu no that bi wo mba Supreme Court wo mo enya bi na wo mo so e de akaka wo mo adwene no de wo hunu ni se afi abato ye to ye no eyade a enkoyie anase Supreme Court asema wodi ye no eni se ye twiro ni book mu mpo ni ye de ato ho na enkoda no omo ababe kan esanse wo mo so no se wo mo kan sa asemu yi dia na de Supreme Court ye no bia na wo mo so da chombe ya lawyer for wo mo ebe ye enti wo no de wo hu ni se afi asemu yi dia ma ye mfa nko book mu na emom no ye ma ne nye te se dia etie na.
This will go into the Ghana Law Reports for the future, and academics and students of law alike will clearly find befuddling the internal contradictions in our jurisprudence. The Supreme Court has given its verdict, but the national debate on the dismal state of our democracy and the increasing weakness of our state institutions has only just begun. It is time we all come together to confront those who seek to destroy the very democratic system that brought them into office. It is our patriotic duty to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, it bears reiterating that our grievances with the conduct of the 2020 elections was not limited to just the presidential elections. Doubts about the Commission's commitment to fairness and transparency have lingered much longer than the duration of this petition. The doubts have attended their every action, and rightly so, because of their posturing and sometimes duplicitous conduct. As I've alluded to in the past, the current leadership of the Commission was installed after the politically motivated removal of the previous Commission. Since then, every step they have taken has appeared to be calculated at ensuring the return of the appointing authority in power. Aside from the compilation of a new register in the midst of a pandemic, one that many civil society organizations, political and governance experts insist was more procurement-minded than needs-based, the time-tested process of consultation and dialogue among stakeholders through the Inter-Party Advisory Committee was supplanted by unity.
Ebusia na yede wo ekọ enije kase emu neno ena brother Sami eye Ernesto Poku Junior wodi aba bontin se enkofo bi ekeka ene na menframa mu se woni brother Sami ewo ensemsem bi enuntinom wo hu ne kura wontimi enchia no ebika wo kohia ne program ase anase weyi nani edi amano neno ena brother Sami anase Ernesto Poku wo kire mu se wono de brother Sami no wone no eni asem bia na momse ponom se brada Sami ene ne wasamo dia na ne ehwo no tirim wono de wonim na brada Sami ene ne nam no wakeka se sisiria mafo na suma wo boy ye wo bra wo mo edi dwuma bi no eye ne sopoku ene ma ne di sa dwuma no na ono de woni no eni asem bia nempo no wonya na damfo de nanso no won tan no nso
Onyumtuni a wagindi ye papa ewo maiga na emu eye Ernesto Poku Junior na wakasa achemu ese enyade se woni no akasa ni no so ewo gospel nyuto emu eye brother Sami wono ewo eye asembia wakasa achemu ese kamie ese gana fobi no ekeka ese eye Ernesto Poku ono akasa ne ho ana afi so no brother Sami wono mienu no wontamu enwo a wacha eyade a wono ete ado ahoma so ena nam so ama eye Ernesto Poku Junior akasa achiremu ese nyade se woni nua gospel nyutuni ewo asembia wasaso achiremu ese nyade se wonu po wa hode a obetimi agina so na empo woni eye onu akasa ni nua brother Sami agina so se ebimpa wono ekon anambo se wontamu aye basabasa osanso ekachiremu biemu ese eyade se brother Sami nyade se wono eye no damfo mum na emom no se ebie kohia no ewo dwumede bi ase a ofa akonya no so no wachia no bia akone baabi na emum se ba no pa se ebia one no ewo asemanya de se one no ewo asembia
ebusua na ye begina we so ne yetwa ye hutia wa ye ba ye de obekọ obi man so na hye ne nso se ye success preparatory school womo ena bo ye chidom eme ye de kase ebra wom se wo pese wo ba no wonya school papa pa na wo sua de pa na wo be ye pani pa de a ene fa ne ko success preparatory school na womo emma ne ntete ye pa esanse womo de womo twa womo twa pa ayi a wo maami anasa wofo no wani ebeje ho success ana womo edemu soronko ye twa ye ho ye ba ye de kase no ebeto aso ebusia yesan emo wakwa aba edeba virgin onwini brem kase safei ena waso wafidie na ye tufa ni akwa kogina Nigeria man no emu ne no ena babeto edwase ye covid-19 edura nyame adom Ghana yenye bi no ene wo nso enya wo di a wo mfirase efiri Nigeria wo ahinkro meche Abuja eho na wo de pane yi bi ekwakwa wo a na afe no atoa pete nkronkro ahodo a wo Nigeria man no emu no mo atimi aba mo ho ban efiri covid-19 yade no eho na wo nso omo ho atimi ato wo mo
yade kodie coronavirus bai no enye Ghana hankwa na unity na mum so gopiemu ewo Nigeria man no mu enso a eyade se unity wo honum ye papa na wonom pa ya wo bo eni se rade baye wonom adom na empo wanya eduro betumi ede akọ tia yade no na serbe ye kasa na edoni bi anya ba bepiemu ewo man Ghana mu ne ye hwe animu ese Ghana ni di hye bia ma no kwan na de panenu bi awo no na empo enyina da ye kwan ye ko ede tia yade no yetimi akonya di enkunim no wasanso enedoni bi akwakopiemu ewo Nigeria man no emu a enche bia wonom ebe hyase ede awo wade hye ewo wonom kro no ahinkura nkasa me kire Abuja na serbe ye kasa dia babeto dwese wonom mampanyi Muhammadu Buhari eni na bedi kire akaunti abomu ama sese die wonom mienu ama ho kwa mapanya no bi ye dia wo mo se de beyo na eno no beye adansidie na empo eyisro eni ehu bia die fri adehya wonom ewo Nigeria man no emu
abusia na we so ene ye begina na kase no ye bu ni komu na hye ne nso se de ye beto odwa no ebi ene se Mampeni ndanda John Dramani Mahama ni nsem nyina ene se Ghana titru ene achitafo a omo eye NDC amanyokuo no ma wa mokra emoto na momo nya gidie se afimpinu ni aduonu abato no ebekọ di ama NDC fo Saranso ena mampeni ndanda John Dramani Mahama ni nsem nyina ne se wono de wo hu ne se afimpinu ni aduonu abato ye to ye no eyade abato komisa eni mpanifo bi no wo mo etena asesebe na wo mo wie mu de ma NPP amanyokuo no Saranso ena mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama wode babetu dwase woni monyamfo domlevo na homegye wo kono woni de efi ne nkekanye bia eni hu na emom no na nke wo sempanifo wo mo fa kwanfoforo bi so na wo mo ka ekere no Supreme Court abatu nsensamo ya enre ya da wo mo de babetu dwa ne no ena mampeni na nadodan kwa akofado ene na bedieche doctor ba wo mia ni mpanifo no bi wo mo agi wo mo ani pa chechirencha ejese enya samaketwa ensem bi eka we hu amanone ensem ena yeboabo ano de besum enwumre yi se virgin onyunu brekase ebusan shane so say success preparatory school wo mo ena boy ye chidom yetimi ede kase ebra success wo mo ewo nsawom adeso kwantempon no eso wo ba no de wotie bia bemo oba o fa no bra na mo beje no fefefem midin ede na nakua acheba ata me na me kan kase boy ede mam yamani moni hwa enyado